I'm so confused. But my father comes home at the end of the day, and he's a fair man, and he says, hey boy, what did your mother tell you? Well, she said, don't use the front door. Oh, he's so disappointed. You did hear, you do remember, you did understand. This is deliberate disobedience. And I get another paddled bottom. And I still don't know what's going on. But very shortly afterwards, I head off to school because I turned 5. And a lovely lady in a pretty dress, in the first day, she says, little boy, here's school rule number 1. Don't run around corners. And so the bell goes. Me, my mates, we're outside running, chasing, yelling, round the corner, smack bang into all the soft and wobbly bits of that very same teacher. Oh, soft landing. And she says, little boy, what did I tell you? And little boy is stupid because he says, oh, you said don't run around corners. You did hear, you do remember, you did understand. This is deliberate disobedience. See, on my first day of school, I am ranked as a behavior problem. And I haven't even had a chance to prove them that I can't read and write. See, most of you will be believing that the kid who acts out at school who has a behavior problem is so because of their anger, their frustration, their disappointment at not being able to achieve in the classroom. And I have to tell you, rubbish. We've got a chicken and egg problem here. You have to unlearn that. The kid who is acting out at school is acting out for the very same reason that they cannot process the language at school. And it's because they are little diesels. These are the diesels of our world. They are perfectly normal. It's a perfectly normal continuum. But these kids actually process language differently. Yes, they do hear the word. They do hear the word don't. But the picture that is left in their brain is the piece that determines their behavior. I am 3 years old. I am walking across your brand new carpet with my glass of cordial. What do you say to me? And who do you blame? And what about the one, don't run around with that sharp stick in your hand. If you do, what happens next? You will hurt yourself. And then what do you say? Right, great. We blame the kid. Now, I'm not going to go through a whole exercise that I would do if this was a workshop, but you figure out, you look at the language that this word don't features in. You know, you've been out for the night, you're bringing the kids home in the car, they're both asleep in the back seat, you gently pick up your little 4-year-old and you're going inside and you say to the kid, don't wake up. You see, if this was determining a lot of the behavior of the child and you didn't know until 20 years' time, you could be angry. Why didn't somebody tell me earlier? Because I believe that many of the kids who are in foster care are these kids here who have, yes, they do have language. Yes, they can speak. But their predominant thinking style inside their head is a whole series, a multiplicity of video movies that they don't have particular control over. And when we use language, we inadvertently put things into that head. When you come home from school today, don't forget your jersey. So what's going to happen? And how many of you women ring your husband in the middle of the day and say, honey, your mother-in-law's coming for dinner. Don't forget the wine and don't be late. So you've cooked the dinner and now you've cooked the whole evening. I could go on and on and on, and I won't go on and on and on, because out there in the foyer, I've got my 3 books, and my 3 books cover this completely, and you can go and buy as many copies as you like, if you like. So the first thing I want to leave with you is the fact that so commonly, our language, when we think we're going that way, is going to create 100% the opposite outcome from what we intend. Not just partly opposite, but 100% opposite outcome. And we take these kids down to the doctor, and we say, "Doctor, doctor." Every time I ask him not to do something, he immediately does it. The doctor says, oppositional defiance disorder. Oh, yes, there's a lot of it around at the moment. Well, we might even have a little pill for it. Oppositional defiance disorder? No, my friends, no. A little diesel who thinks in pictures, our language doesn't do the trick. But let's just go a step further here. Anybody keeping time here, or can I go through till lunchtime? Oh, well, okay. So anytime you use language that starts off with a don't and puts an inappropriate picture in the child's head, please don't blame the kids. Yeah, we blame the kids on and on and on, unrecognizing that we are the instruments here. We are the people who are putting those pictures there. And there are plenty of examples around, and you can think of all the ones you use. But, okay, so if we put the wrong picture in a kid's head, that's what they operate on. But what if we use language that does not put a picture in a child's head? What would be the picture for next? Is there a picture for next? I'm going to tell you a little story, absolutely, totally and utterly true, of one of the last clients I had in my business before I closed it down and started going on a lecture tour. One Monday morning, a farmer walked into my office with a 15-year-old farm cadet in his hand, whom he dropped in the middle of my floor and said, "Fix him." Okay, New Zealand, Australia, pretty much the same. Which end of my continuum would a 15-year-old farm cadet sit at? He's in that end. Otherwise, you'd still be at school. He's likely to be a pictorial processor. I said to this farmer, "Well, tell me the story. What is it here?" He said, "I'll tell you the story. You watch the pictures that come up in your head." He said to me, "Last night, we were in the cowshed. Halfway through the milking, I said to the boy, 'Get on the quad, go up the race, don't open the gate by the cattle trough, open the next one.' He said, 'This morning I got on the quad at 6:30, I went up the race, and I found 300 cows happily munching on 30 acres of standing hay.'" Now, for those of you who live in the city, that's about 30 grand's worth. He said, "Well, what do I do?" "Go down to Bunnings and buy yourself numbers for your gates, mate. Don't open the gate by the cattle trough." What is the picture? You've all got it perfectly clearly, haven't you? Open the next one. You can't draw a next. There is no such picture as next. So what does the kid do? He goes up and he operates on the last picture to go into his head. Perfectly normal. Absolutely normal. But he gets the blame. Well, 30 grand's worth of standing hay, yeah. We'll go one step further, and I'll tell you a story that comes out of Australia in 1990, broadcast on New Zealand News on Christmas Day, 1990, on the radio. A couple had lost their twin 5-year-old sons to drowning on their 5th birthday, the day before Christmas, on their outback farm. The mother was on radio, live, or recorded, and she said, "You watch the pictures. And I just said to them the day before, don't play near the cattle trough. If you do, you will fall in and you will drown." Do you see the pictures? Beautifully orchestrated. How powerful could that instruction on her part have been when she thought she was going that way? And the actual fact, the impact with these two little kids, predictably is going exactly the opposite way. So if we put pictures in the kid's head, that's what they will operate on. But you can't draw a picture of next. And you also can't draw a picture of Tuesday. You look at the sun on Tuesday morning, is it square, and on Wednesday it's a triangle, and on Thursday it's almost round? No. Every day looks exactly the same. They've only got 10 minutes left.